Nothing is about Supreme Court, be it a minister, chief minister or prime minister. But unfortunately, that too in a secular democracy like India, Congress pandering to the vote bank, Muslim vote banks, have given Waqf Board authority higher than the Supreme Court. This is against the very nature of the Constitution. It is written, nothing can be above the Supreme Court. Now we have that young man, actually quite old he is, growing a beard, Fidel Castro beard, holding a red book, saying Constitution, Constitution. Who is using the Constitution for their political gains? It is Congress party. It is very, very sad. It goes against the very fabric of the secular nature of the Constitution, and it goes against the fundamentals of the Constitution where Supreme Court is the most supreme. 1995 Waqf Act introduced by Congress puts section 40 puts Waqf above the Supreme Court. I'll just read it out. The board itself may collect information regarding any property which has reason to believe it is Waqf property, and if any question arises whether a particular property is Waqf or not, whether Sunni or Shia, it may make such inquiry as it may deem fit and decide the question. The decision of the board on a question of subsection 1 shall, unless revoked or modified by the tribunal, will be final. Ante, this is the final anamata. And it goes on. Where the board has reason to believe that any property of any trust or society registered in persuasion of the Indian Trust Act 1982 or the Societies Registration Act, the board may, notwithstanding anything contained in such, the property or show cause why such a property should not be so registered. It cannot. They decide themselves. The board shall, after duly considering such case, may be shown in pursuance of notice issued under subsection 3, pass such orders as it may think fit. Ante, while ishtamunnattu, as it may think fit, and the order may be made by the board, shall be final unless revoked by the tribunal. Ante, board, then be the Waqf tribunal. That is the final. But more importantly, let us see the other countries. Let us see the other countries. Look at Egypt. Look at Egypt. Look at in Egypt, the first leader to bring Awaq under control, under state control, was Muhammad Ali Pasha in 1800. Because Waqf was considered a state subject, not a religious subject. And that is the distinction we made. Recently, one Muslim leader says, Tirupati Devasthanam cannot have non-Hindus, but Waqf Board has. You cannot equate or compare a religious institution like a temple with a social organization for charitable trust meant for the society. This is something for the Muslim society. You compare a masjid to a temple, but don't compare a Waqf Board to a temple. So the fundamental question is Waqf a religious issue or a social issue? Very clearly, it is a social issue for the upliftment and benefit, which is very good for the charitable organization involved in the upliftment of the Muslim society. And it is very noble and very good. But giving it powers beyond anything, it is not a constitution. So the primary argument is it is social, and it is not me telling. It is various books, and these are written by authors from Malaysia, Muslim scholars from Malaysia, Egypt, Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, and this Waqf is clearly a state subject. Very, very clearly a state subject. There is no doubt. The same thing, whether it's Bosnia, Hungary, or the Turkey, or Malaysia, everywhere it's a state subject, and very clearly state so. And I have access. I will give these books. Now today's, we all dressed up as Indian soldiers because using this 1995 Waqf Act, Aurangzeb is invading Chevella parliament and even today conquering land. It may sound ridiculous. The fact it may sound ridiculous is, it is ridiculous. It's a mockery of our democracy, it's a mockery of our constitution, where the bearded man is going around holding the constitution. How can, under section 40 of 95 Waqf Act, how can the Waqf Tribunal be superior to the Supreme Court? So, clearly we wanted to highlight it. So, if they can use Aurangzeb to conquer Chevella parliament land, we will also use Chhatrapati Shivaji to attack and defend if possible. And that is why we wanted to highlight it. The entire country should know how low they stoop just for vote bank politics. They will sell their own motherland for their vote bank politics, Congress party. Now TRS party is no less. In this particular Guttalabegapet 90 acres land, the dispute is the owners who are owners for last 107 years with documents and possession, suddenly some Waqf sends a notice it belongs to Waqf. What's your proof means? Aurangzeb gave an oral gift to the Waqf 300 years ago. That is more powerful than all the documents and the legal proceedings for last 108 years. So that is what is the primary reason to bring about this change. There are 15 points, important points in this reasons and objective in the Waqf Amendment Act. I have gone through those, and it gives, it takes away, in the old act, it doesn't give inheritance right to women. In this it does. It removes the Waqf by user. Waqf by user is a contentious issue. Nobody need to give. If I just go there and pray for whatever 10, 20 days or some days, that land becomes, it may be government land or it may be your private land or your private land, it becomes there. Including Muslims and women, non-Muslims and women, in the Muslim women and non-Muslims in the Waqf board. I don't see any harm in it. They are in the endowments department. All religions are there. Why not in the Waqf board? That's what we just provided. Then section 14 is omitted. They reduce some annual contribution from 7% to 5%. And forming a tribunal structure with 2 members, providing for appeals against the order of the tribunal to the High Court. Which means even if the tribunal gives the order against you, you can go to the High Court. It restores my fundamental right for legal recourse. And that is what they do not want. Surely, this vote bank, it is an eye-opener for everyone. It is in fact an eye-opener for all of us that Congress put such draconian act just to appease. Why in 95? That is because in their rule, the Babri Masjid were demolished. So to appease the Muslims, they have added this 1995 Waqf Act, which makes